Some events seem too unreal to believe in the shadowy world of intelligence and global power struggles. Yet on November 27, 2020, reality outdid fiction when Iran's top nuclear scientist, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, was assassinated in a carefully planned attack. His death was not just about one man, it was about the future of Iran's nuclear ambitions, the fears of its enemies, and the secret war playing out in the Middle East. A quiet drive outside Tehran ended with sudden gunfire, no killers in sight, yet Iran's top scientist was dead within seconds. This is how Mohsen Fakhrizadeh was killed, in an operation so advanced it felt like science fiction. But it was genuine, and it sent shockwaves across the Middle East. Mohsen Fakhrizadeh was not a public figure. He was not someone who appeared on television or gave fiery political speeches. In fact, outside of Iran, few people even recognized his name, and fewer still could have identified his face. But inside the world of intelligence services, he was well known, and his reputation carried weight far beyond the borders of his own country. Fakhrizadeh was often called the father of Iran's nuclear program, the man whose work and influence made him indispensable to Tehran's long and controversial pursuit of nuclear technology. He lived much of his life in the shadows, carefully protected, his movements monitored by security teams, his public exposure kept to a bare minimum. Yet despite the secrecy, his role was so central that Western intelligence agencies never stopped watching him. Born in 1958, Fakhrizadeh studied physics. He later rose to become a respected professor and a senior officer in the Revolutionary Guard. To his students, he was a teacher, a scientist passionate about knowledge. But to his allies in government and the military, he was more than that. He was a trusted mind, someone capable of leading the kind of advanced projects that could give Iran a position of power in a hostile world. His name appeared in International Atomic Energy Agency reports as early as the 1990s, linked to activities that raised suspicions about the true nature of Iran's nuclear research. While Tehran insisted that its work was peaceful, focused only on generating energy, intelligence services across the globe concluded otherwise. And again, the one figure at the heart of their concerns was Mohsen Fakhrizadeh. By the early 2000s, he was reportedly leading something known as Project Ahmad, a program that Western intelligence believed was dedicated to designing nuclear weapons. Iran denied this, claiming the program had been shut down, but whispers persisted that the research continued in new forms, under different names, and always with Fakhrizadeh as the guiding force. Unlike other Iranian officials, he did not chase the limelight, and unlike some of his colleagues, he did not engage in politics. He stayed hidden, quiet, operating out of sight. That secrecy only added to his legend, making him appear even more dangerous to those who believed he was Iran's key to a future nuclear bomb. The world's attention was drawn to him most dramatically in 2018, when Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stood before cameras and revealed what he claimed was a massive archive of Iranian nuclear documents smuggled out by Mossad operatives. Netanyahu called the operation one of Israel's greatest intelligence triumphs. Among the piles of files, blueprints, and diagrams, one name was circled again and again: Mohsen Fakhrizadeh. Netanyahu paused during his speech and told the world, "Remember that name." It was more than a warning. It was a signal to the international community, to Israel's allies, and perhaps most importantly, to Iran, that Fakhrizadeh was now a marked man. He was not the first scientist to find himself in such a position. Between 2010 and 2012, several Iranian nuclear scientists were killed in targeted assassinations. Motorcycles pulled up beside cars in traffic and planted bombs on the doors. Gunmen shot men in front of their families. Explosions lit up the streets of Tehran. Each time, Iran blamed Israel's Mossad, accusing it of running a campaign to eliminate the brains behind its nuclear program. Israel, as always, neither confirmed nor denied involvement. But amid those killings, Fakhrizadeh survived. Protected by armored cars and layers of security, he became the one man Israel had not yet reached, their most elusive target. That changed on November 27, 2020. On that Friday afternoon, Fakhrizadeh and his wife left Tehran for Absard, a quiet town where many officials kept villas. As always, he traveled in a convoy, his car in the center, bodyguards close behind, and a protective bubble around him. To most observers, it looked impossible to strike him without risking a firefight. Yet waiting on that road outside Absard was a weapon unlike anything seen before in an assassination. Parked innocently by the roadside was a pickup truck carrying a machine gun unlike any the world had known. It was not manned by an assassin hiding nearby. No sniper was waiting for a clear shot. Instead, the weapon was linked by satellite to operators who were hundreds, perhaps even thousands, of miles away. Reports later suggested that the gun was equipped with advanced artificial intelligence, capable of recognizing Fakhrizadeh, targeting him with precision, and firing in bursts designed to minimize collateral damage. When the convoy approached, the gun activated. Bullets tore through the air, striking the car, targeting Fakhrizadeh with deadly accuracy. His wife, sitting beside him, was untouched. His bodyguards scrambled in confusion, unsure where the shots were coming from, unsure whom to fire at. In less than a minute, the attack was over. Fakhrizadeh was mortally wounded. Before anyone could capture the equipment, the machine gun self-destructed, leaving behind fragments of metal and a trail of questions. Iran at first claimed that gunmen had ambushed the convoy. But soon officials began to admit the truth was stranger than the attack had been carried out remotely, with no human assassins on the ground. If this account is correct, it marked a new era in covert warfare. The age of car bombs and silenced pistols was giving way to an era of satellite-guided, AI-powered weapons. For Iran, the implications were chilling. It meant that no matter how carefully protected their top figures were, they could still be reached. For the rest of the world, it was a glimpse of future conflicts where technology replaces assassins and the battlefield extends into the realm of machines. Iran wasted no time in blaming Israel. Officials declared Mossad had orchestrated the killing. Security analysts around the world agreed it bore the hallmarks of an Israeli operation: bold, meticulously planned, and technologically sophisticated. The United States, then under the Trump administration, was also suspected of involvement. Washington had already abandoned the Iran nuclear deal and launched a maximum pressure campaign, including the drone strike that killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani earlier that year. While there was no open confirmation, many believed the Fakhrizadeh assassination was a coordinated effort to weaken Iran's nuclear program and complicate any possible return to negotiations under the incoming Biden administration. The killing shook Iran to its core. Fakhrizadeh was mourned as a martyr, his funeral attended by top officials and military leaders. The supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, vowed that his death would not stop the nuclear program. Instead, Parliament passed a law demanding the acceleration of uranium enrichment, pushing Iran closer to the threshold of weapons capability. What had been meant as a blow to Iran's ambitions may have hardened its resolve instead. International reactions were divided. Some nations condemned the killing, worried that it would destabilize an already volatile region. Others quietly approved, believing that removing Fakhrizadeh slowed Iran's path to a nuclear weapon. For diplomats hoping to revive talks, the assassination made everything harder. The trust deficit between Iran and the West, already deep, grew even wider. For Israel, if indeed it was behind the operation, the killing was both a triumph and a risk. They had finally reached the man they had long identified as the linchpin of Iran's nuclear program. Yet with that success came the threat of retaliation. Iran's leaders vowed revenge, raising the possibility of shadow wars, cyber attacks, and further escalation in the years to come. Beyond the politics, The symbolism of the assassination was powerful. Fakhrizadeh was not just a scientist. He was a symbol of Iran's defiance, its determination to pursue scientific progress in the face of sanctions and international pressure. Killing him was not only about stopping one man's research, it was about sending a message that no figure, no matter how well guarded, was beyond reach. For Iran, it was both a personal loss and a national humiliation. For the wider world, it was a reminder of just how far nations will go in their hidden wars. The legacy of his death is still unfolding. Iran has continued its nuclear program, at times accelerating enrichment beyond the limits once agreed in international deals. Tensions with Israel remain high, and the possibility of open conflict never fully disappears. Perhaps the most lasting impact of the assassination is the way it redefined covert operations. By relying on remote-controlled, AI-guided weapons, the operation revealed a future where targeted killings no longer require assassins on the ground. Warfare, espionage, and assassination are being reshaped by technology in ways the world is only beginning to understand. For ordinary people, the assassination of Mohsen Fakhrizadeh is not just the story of one man's death. It is a glimpse into the secret battles fought in the shadows, battles that rarely make headlines until something extraordinary happens. Fakhrizadeh's killing showed that in this world of hidden wars, even the most carefully guarded lives can be ended in an instant, with weapons that seem almost futuristic yet are chillingly real.